Welcome to Rockingham Speedway for the latest encounter of the Protech Shocks Sports Specials Championship. We've got a huge grid of production kit cars, multiple classes based on power to weight ratios, and a track including a fast oval section followed by a tight twisting technical infield section. Two races are coming up for these guys, so let's get straight into the action, and here's Andy McEwen.
Thank you, Anthony. Cars lining up on the grid, but they're not all there because poleman Martin Gambling is a non-starter. That leaves Matthew Booth on his own on row 1 ahead of Darren Berris and Rob Johnston and John Moore and Stephen Ward. Nigel Brown, Marcus Roskill, Liam and Leighton Norris round out the top 10 on what was originally a 20-car grid, rounded out by Peter Robinson and Andy Hiley. But big drama for Martin Gambling, second place in the Class A points coming into this round, qualified on pole, but will not take the start. The rest of the cars are there though. Matthew Booth has the opportunity to take off from the front row all on his own, and as the lights go out, it will be the Brands Hatch race winner who gets a decent start, but the best start appears to be Rob Johnston, the orange machine up the middle. Around the outside comes John Moore. Some of the Class B competitors getting themselves all a little bit bottled together as they go through turn 1 for the first time. And the Protech Shocks Sports Specials underway here, rocking with a three-wire battle for the lead down towards the Dean hairpin. Booth on the inside, on the outside was, who is that? I think that is John Moore, isn't it? And coming up the middle there was Darren Berris in the blue car, and Darren Berris gets second place away. He might even be able to challenge for the lead down through Yentwood. On board with Ollie Samways there in the midfield, got someone off, someone pointing the wrong way, or it's all gone wrong. That might have been John Moore again, you know, pointing the wrong way, and that's Berris. So Berris off. So yes, I think it is Berris and Moore who have got tangled together at Yentwood for the first time. And does that therefore mean that Matthew Booth has been handed the race lead? I think he has. Down through the Piff Paff and Kirby we go for the first time. Number 44 there is Marcus Roskill, and just in front of him, going quite slowly there it would seem, is Nigel Brown, and he's going to lose potentially a position there. The car's struggling through the corners, but then actually has decent straight line speed, pulls back away from the 71 of Leighton Norris. Leighton Norris, who is second in the Class B Championship behind Liam. But Liam in car number 61 also involved in this battle, on board with Ben Coles now, the FRS Arrow. Then hits the race down towards Tarzan. It's all getting very congested in front of us. Look on this opening lap of the race. Slowest corner on the track, back along the school straight, and pull up alongside, trying to gain a place here on the outside line of Liam, that was, down into the Brook chicane. It's all very congested behind Nigel Brown, who will try and use the superior horsepower of his Class A machine to get away from some of the Class B cars behind him. So through to the completion of the opening lap there, Matthew Booth, I can tell you, did lead them across the start-finish line for the first time. This is all the battling that's going on behind them, and very intense it is, as there you see the recovering Darren Berris in the blue number 40 car. As they go down into the Dean hairpin then, and he goes on the inside again. He'll gain another position now at the expense of Leighton Norris. So Leighton Norris will try and cut back in front. Of course, he's battling the white car a couple of places back. Liam for the Class B Championship lead, just 11 points between them, as they turn back down through the two 90-degree right-handers at Yentwood and Chapman. We last covered this championship at its opening rounds at Brands Hatch. Well, since then they've had another 2 races at Mallory Park. The first one won by Martin Gambling, the second by Rob Johnston, meaning we've had 4 different race winners from the first 4 races of the year, in Class A that is. In Class B, it's been equally competitive actually, but Liam arrives here, as I said, 11 points clear in the championship over this man Leighton Norris, who dives up the inside of Marcus Roskill there. Marcus Roskill is 4th in the Class B points. So it's definitely the Class B cars that are providing most of the entertainment in the early going here. In Class A, Rob Johnston, has a 13-point lead over Martin Gambling, but of course Gambling did not take the start. Matthew Booth, however, is only 5th in the championship, so he stands to gain potentially from this non-start for Martin Gambling. Matthew, of course, has had good pace, but not always had the look on his side thus far this season. Focus on him in a moment or two. For now, the entertainment is all amongst the Class B ranks, and you can see there is that car still separating Leighton Norris and Liam. The car being 44 of Marcus Roskill, the Silver Phoenix, which is running within Class B, so second place in Class B at the moment in this race. Oh, breaks down to Dean. Oh, and Roskill really late on the brakes there, and actually close enough nearly to attack Leighton Norris for the position, but Leighton just about gets the car into the corner in front. Through Yentwood they go. see Liam, white and black car, wiggling his way through Yenwood and Chapman Curve, the low cost, the only low cost in the race actually this weekend. Of course, there is a separate low cost championship for 750 Motor Club, but the low cost car eligible to race in this championship as well, so why not get a bit of extra mileage under his belt? Competing in 2 different championships this year is Lee, with the same car, and that's again great value for money, these cars, and you can race a lot of them in various different series across both the 750 spectrum and indeed the wider motorsport world in the UK. It looks as though Marcus Roskill has certain parts of the circuit where he's quite strong, but then others where the cars around him are a little bit quicker, and he's just finding it difficult to establish any sort of a rhythm here. He's having to defend into some corners from Liam and attack Leighton Norris into some others, and he's just not really getting into any sort of a rhythm. Back out of Brook in towards the end of another lap. Right back on board, further back in the field, and you can see there again the different multi-class racing, but of course even within the separate classes the regulations are fairly open, so get some cars that are quicker in a straight line and some that are better through the corners, but it does produce good racing. You see there Liam has lost another place now to the recovering John Moore, I think that is, as Marcus Roskill dives on the inside of Leighton Norris, takes the place away, but then runs a bit wide. Leighton will try and get the cut back, and that puts him back alongside it. Yep, but it's the outside line. Roskill comes back at him, locks up, goes straight on. It's all getting a bit dicey here now. Norris comes back on the inside of him and into the right-hander at Chapman. I think he's going to retake the class lead. Yes, he does. Roskill, I beg your pardon, turns back in and holds on to the lead, but this is a tremendous scrap going on here for the lead in Class B. And you do sense that for John Moore, he just wants to get out of this because he's a Class A car number 6. He heads down into Gracelands, has a look at the inside, and he will get the place back. So gets himself ahead of Leighton Norris, who not that long ago was leading the class. He's now down to 3rd because Liam has gone through as well. So Liam is now 2nd, and crucially ahead of his nearest rival in the championship. I know it's early days in the championship, but it's still well worth keeping an eye on the championship points. They fan out again now. Look at this. Well, as John Moore carves his way through like the proverbial hot knife through butter, so Leighton Norris takes advantage and gets back on the inside of Liam. So back into 2nd place within Class B now. Out across the start-finish line they go. We've had 4 races so far this year, and in 3 of them we've had a new lap record set within Class B. So the Class B cars, not only are they producing really good racing, but they're producing really quick lap times as well, and we're flirting with the lap record pace here today as well. It's pretty much ideal temperatures for quick laps, so we may well see that remarkable trend of lap records continue. We had Stuart Much, sorry, beg your pardon, we had back at Mallory Park last time out, Liam take the lap record. Actually set lap record pace in both races at Mallory Park. Back through towards Kirby they go again, and you can see that Liam is really starting to apply the pressure there. He gets all out of shape though as he tries to find a way past Leighton Norris, who is in his defence, perhaps losing a bit of time to the lead car in front. Oh, dear me. Liam tried to get back on the inside through the 2nd apex at Kirby, which is tempting to do because you miss the 1st apex at Kirby, you sacrifice the entry speed so as to get really good speed out of the corner, and that was the idea there for Leighton Norris, but it does leave that inviting gap on the inside for maybe the car behind to have a go at you. On board again here, further down the order, just chasing that group down. Right out over the curve, look at that, and you can see just how much track they do use coming out of the Tarzan hairpin. Breaks now into Brook, meanwhile towards the sharper end of the field. This is a battle between Darren Berris and I believe that is Rob Johnston, isn't it? So Berris has really recovered quite nicely now. This is the fight for 2nd place. Booth has gone, he's escaped up the road. Darren Berris, after that grassy moment at this corner on the opening lap, has been able to find his way back into 2nd place now, so Johnston loses the position. Berris, well, what can he do about Booth? Remembering qualifying, Booth was quicker than Berris, by almost a full second, so you wouldn't expect Berries to be able to go after him. But then Booth was, in turn, a full second slower than Martin Gambling. But of course, Gambling not taking the start, that has thrown a spanner in the works as far as his championship campaign is concerned. We'll have to wait to see whether Martin Gambling can get out for race 2 later on, or whether it's a bit of a terminal issue. I fear the latter, actually. I believe it was a fairly substantial mechanical issue that put him out of starting this race. But Berries and Johnston make their way back down through the Brook chicane. Johnston a winner back at Mallory Park. Berries looking for his first win of the season. It's unlikely he's going to get it here today, but as long as he can score some decent points within his class, it's actually his first time racing with the series this year, so he's not in championship contention by any means, is Darren Berries, but he certainly will be a thorn in some of the regular contenders' sides, I think, as the year goes on, if he decides to stick around, that is. We hope he does, because it's always good to have some more competitive drivers getting involved. Darren Berries in the Westfield is starting now, I'd say, to pull away slightly from Rob Johnston. Rob, championship leader though in Class A, but Matthew Booth, if he can win this race and with Johnston down to third, that could all start to change the championship situation, couldn't it? John Moore is also in championship contention in fourth, but he's having a bad race, and Nigel Brown, who is third in the championship, is not doing particularly well here either, so Booth is the one that's set to make some pretty big gains here points-wise. Johnston, having just said that Berries was dropping him though, look, he's right back with him now as they come out of Tarzan, back along the school straight into the Brook chicane, flame spitting for the back of the V8 engine Westfield. This is why that thing is quite so quick in a straight line. We'll wait. We should see actually whether Johnston can stay with him on the straight. Unfortunately, cut away to an onboard here with Ollie Samways. That might be Nigel Brown, who is running in front of us. Huge rear view mirror there on the dash. Oh, and someone's going around the outside of us now. Who was that? All getting a bit tight again through Tarzan. It's not Rob Johnston, it's not Nigel Brown, it is Ben Coles that we're dicing away with, one of the white and blue cars. Car number 7, who is still in front of us as we turn into the Brook chicane. Not entirely sure who that was trying to get past us. It might possibly have been Martin Haywood in the blue car, in fact I think it was, who was up alongside going down into Tarzan that time. Meanwhile, back at the sharp end, and you can see there that Rob Johnston just can't quite keep with Darren Berries at this stage, so looks like Darren is going to come home in second place, barring any late disasters, as we creep towards the end of this 13-minute +1 lap encounter. Probably one more lap to go, I'd say, after this one, as there is Matthew Booth. Easy to forget about the MK&D that's out there, but it is dominating proceedings at the moment in the sports specials here at Rockingham, and he could be about to become the first 2-time winner of the season. Won the second race at Brands Hatch, which we covered earlier on in the season, but it looks as though this one's going to be a little bit more comfortable. Across the line it goes, one more lap to go, and Matthew Booth unheaded really, because it's not an enormous field here this weekend, and because it's quite a long track at Rockingham. I don't think he's really going to have that much in the way of back markers to deal with. There is a back marker just up the road we caught a glimpse of there coming out of the end, but I don't think Matthew Booth is quite going to get there, so and if he does, the speed difference should be enough to just carry him straight through. So Matthew Booth, half a lap away now from victory in round number 5 of the Protech Shocks Sports Specials Championship, and he'll be looking now to try and do the double. The second race grid is decided based upon the second fastest lap times from qualifying, so again Matthew Booth set the second fastest time, as he did to line up second on the grid for this one. But if we don't have Martin Gambling out there, then it could be another fairly uncontested run to victory for Booth, barring any dramas of course. Looks like it's Sylvia Much in the purple number 79 MEV who is the car that could go a lap down, but I'm not convinced Booth is quite going to get there. I think he'll probably just throttle back and take it easy. You can see he's not a million miles away from Beres and Johnston though, but then Matthew has definitely eased the pace off slightly as the race has gone on. 1:37.08 is his fastest lap, and that will be the fastest lap of the race. And he's also going to become the first man to win 2 races in 2018. Matthew Booth wins race number 1 here in Rockingham in fairly comfortable fashion. Over 4 seconds is going to be the margin back to Darren Beres in second, and Rob Johnston, who comes home in third. Confirmation of that result then: Booth, Beres and Johnston, your podium finishes. Then it's Stephen Ward and John Moore, Nigel Brown and Marcus Roskill, and it was Roskill who took the Class B victory. Then it's Leighton Norris, Liam and Ollie Samways who round out the top 10. Then Martin Hayward, Martin Buckland, Bridget Smart, Alan Robinson, Alex Claridge and Sylvia Much, whilst Ben Coles and Andy Hiley were both non-finishers.
Matthew, firstly, congratulations, but you nearly lost it all on the first corner.
Yeah, it's pushing into the first corner to try and keep lead, but that Westfield pulled a lovely move around outside. But yeah, it was just tires were too cold into that second corner, and just we all went wide and managed to get it back on in second, which I was happy with. And then I saw Robbie in front. I thought, we'll go and try and break away, and then I'll try and get him. So look at that. I saw where he was slow and managed to break through, and then just got that gap. And then when it spun, I just managed to knock it off a bit and relax to bring it back home.
Well, for now, go and enjoy it. Well done.
Thank you.
Darren, firstly, congratulations. Second on the road, second in class. But talk us through the car. It's a magnificent thing. Rover V8 in it. We could see at the start you struggle getting it off the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's got lots of torque, and it's as powerful as any of the other Class A cars out there. And it's getting the wheels to turn without just spinning everything away has been a challenge for a little while. I haven't quite nailed my starts yet, and obviously on a competitive grid like that has an impact of where I end up going into the first corner.
Yeah, flames coming out everywhere. It's something to behold.
Yeah, it loves a bit of flame on the overrun, definitely. So it's a nice bit of kit. It's taken a while I've been racing it for a number of years now. This is my first foray into sports specials properly. I did a race a couple of years ago at Cadwell, but it's nice to come and be part of this series now. And it's nice to be kind of up the sharp end of it as well.
Yeah, it's a fantastic championship to be in. What can we expect from you for race 2?
I think more of the same, hopefully a better start, and I got into the first corner and I was right up at the pointy end with the other 2 guys. Unfortunately, the car, when we got to this through the hairpin and up to the first right-hander, I stood on the brakes and kind of not a lot happened, and I went out and across the gravel and ended up about halfway down the field. So it was a spirited drive, shall we say, to try and get back up again. I think the gentleman who finished third had a I was only catching very slowly. I didn't think I'd catch before the end of the race, but he had a couple of out-braking himself moments and enabled me to close on him and then get past. So it was a fortuitous second place. I was expecting after my off to a best third, maybe down from that, but really pleased that I was able to bang in some really good laps and get myself back up to second place.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well, Rob, you managed to miss the carnage at corner 2. You were in the lead for a couple of laps, but you couldn't keep him out behind him.
No. Matt's car is a lot more nimble on the infield section than ours, and we were just carrying a bit of a brake problem today. We had it in qualifying, and it showed itself again in the race. So that ultimately led to the mistake where we had the spin. So that's what threw us the race, really.
It's a fine line, isn't it? Winning or losing.
It can be, yeah.
Well, third place isn't too bad after all that.
No, third's good. Points are there. Lee finished third in Class B, so that pretty much levels the score. So yeah, I'm quite happy. So.
All to play for in race 2.
We'll try again. We're going to do some work on the car overnight and try and get things improved.
Fantastic. And with Rockingham, the fast oval section and obviously the infield section, how important is the car setup?
I've always said it's a track of 2 types. Obviously, you've got a very fast section which suits our car. Our car's not so much nimble in the sort of second gear stuff, where the 7 style cars are a little bit more nimble through them.
I will. For now, go and enjoy it. Well done.
Thank you very much.